Are you doing this one? The people on the outside, they can hear the presentations, right? Like they can hear all the
I can name them. There's a rating system. I don't remember them. Oh, sorry. Back to the zero now. All right, so unfortunately, we have two of our three fellows here. I'm going to start. They're next to the group separately. They'll do their full mark. First off, Ian Dunstan came with us from Texas A&M in University of Utah, and Ian is taking a job at James Brown at the University of Virginia, joining the department. So Ian is in Oklahoma, and then Pete Rossley. So Pete's also on, and then Ian wrote and Pete's going to go back to Cleveland Clinic and work there and training. And Max Rangy, the food star, is going to be going back home joining actually his family's practice, basically his father and his uncle in Syria. So you have done an exceptional job, and can't thank you enough. And you'll have a special day out here coming in July. Thank you for all your commitment and your family's commitment to being here for years. Thank you all. Come up and introduce the spine fellows. She's great.
Thank you, everybody. So this year we had two great sign fellows. Harvard came to us from Tinda's Medical School at San Antonio and the residency at he's going to go on to University of California at Davis and do another fellowship there. Then tonight we have with us Dr. Nicole Shelby and his wife Ashley. We're here. Two boys and one on the way. They came to us medical school at Loyola. Knew one of our previous residents, so it was great to have him come here, did his residency in Texas. And he's going to go on to do practice in Marshfield Medical Center in Wisconsin. So Nick, can you stand up?
Thank Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here. This year we had 4 fantastic fellows. I like that show, My 3 Sons, and these are my 4 sons. I'm so proud of them. I love to operate with them. They will do magical things when they leave here. The first one is Ernie Run. It's been a tough year for him. He fell while jogging and dislocated his elbow, and now he's had 2 great head operations. So it's hard to be. Know you'll pull through one way or another, and so we're so proud of you. Jay Bronstein is going to be going to the Scripps Clinic, another just super guy. I wanted to introduce him to my daughter and see if she could get married, but that's another story. When I left Travis Air Force Base in 1986, I went down to the Scripps Clinic. And I thought, this would be cool. I'll go to some place like Mayo where I had already trained. And I thought this would be nice. And they said, well, yeah, you might be acceptable here, but you have to do a fellowship first. And I said, see you later. Anyway, he's going to take the cake and go to Scripps Clinic, which I think will be a fantastic job. Eric Precocious is going to go right next to us in Cary. He's going to do great. We're going to have contact with him for many, many years. We'll look forward to seeing him at Journal Clubs and another outstanding individual. And Najee Mahdi is finishing his 2nd of 3 fellowships. He's originally from Lebanon. And again, we were fortunate, I mean, really, really fortunate to get him on a Rutgers and fellowship. You know, if you're a foreign medical graduate, you have to do 3 fellowships, and then you can apply for a U.S. license. So he's well on his way, and guys, I just love him. Thanks. And here's David Bruce, who will, amongst other candidates, also introduce Carolina, who is Fernando Rand's wife.
It's actually the next. There it is, sorry. So it's a real honor to present the boot camp every year. They take call for their entire year every 3rd night, sometimes operating 12 hours at a time, doing replans. And it's a tedious and tireless type of fellowship that they signed up for. And I really have to congratulate this year's class and persevered through COVID and all the stuff that involved. And I congratulate you with great sincerity. You're a wonderful group. First, if you'll advise when I call you, is Lee Rizio. Lee came to us from Mount Sinai, where he was already an excellent surgeon, and he's only gotten better with time. He and Sam are going to go back to Morristown, New Jersey, to be with your family. I congratulate you on a great year. Marina Carolina Orbe Aran, otherwise known as Tattle, that's everyone, is a fantastic choice from Wake Forest University, where she and Fernie were co-residents together. And I can't imagine how you guys did that, raised kids at the same time. So that she is going to go back to join her father in practice, who is a great friend of mine in Miami. So we thank you for a great job. Warren English from Stanford, double Stanford, and she doesn't look like much, but she packs it very much. She is going to go back to at the Oak program. Hopefully we can stay very well connected. She's a part of a lot of multi-center studying already. We really enjoy having all 3 of these people with us this year. You guys are all part of the Boot Camp Society for Life. So thank you again.
Well, thank you tonight for talking about our preservation fellowships and orthopedic fellowships. This is a relatively recent addition for this combination of arthroscopy of the hip, with open pelvic procedures that ranges from pediatric ages all the way to young adults, sometimes with older adult specialty. So this year we have Landry Jarvis, who's a fellow. Landry, unfortunately, can't be here with us today, but he was a young man who was extremely talented and interested to complete our sports fellowship and spend 6 months with us in preservation. Very glad to have him. And unlike the man fellows, he didn't have to take home. Next up will be Dr. Larkin.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. I get the honor of introducing our pediatric orthopedic fellows. As you know, these ortho fellowships are relatively new here at Duke. We combine with UNC, and each year the class keeps growing stronger and stronger. This year we had 2 fantastic fellows. First, Rodney Job, who came to us from Carolina University in Paul, and then did a residency at Coralla Institute. And in fact, Rodney is the first female to be an orthopedic graduate in Paul. So, fantastic job there, and then did fellowship at UAB, and now with us, and then was on to Pittsburgh to do another pediatric fellowship. Next we have Dr. Trey Ward, who's born and raised in Georgia and is not trained in Houston, and then residency UT Houston, and head back there to El Paso to Texas Tech. And in fact, Trey is, I think he might be the only person from Georgia that they get COVID. So.
Okay, thank you. In the sports world, it's been a challenging year, just like everywhere else. And, we were very fortunate to have 4 fantastic fellows this year that have really added to our team and taken us to another level. Thank you all for what you do. Will please stand up as I announce you and then hold it close to the end. Rob Christian came to us from Northwestern. And Rob is going to stay on for a couple months and do some extra training, hip arthroscopy, and then he and his fiancee Meredith are going to be going to New York City where Rob have a faculty position in pulmonary Presbyterian. Sarah Lander trained at Rochester. She's here today with her husband Mark, who's also on the faculty at Rochester. And Sarah and Mark are going to be partners in more ways than one back in Rochester. Chris Schultz came to us from the University of New Mexico. Chris is also going to be going back to his institution where he did his residency at the University of New Mexico, where they'll be in the back. And then Caitlin Rugg is one of the trainees in Pat Bale's program at UCSF, as Dave mentioned. Caitlin will be going back to California in San Jose with her husband James. Well, she'll be at the Kaiser Permanente program in San Jose. Great job to all of you. Thank you for everything that you've done this year. Please move on.
I guess I told those not be our last. So I have the pleasure of congratulating our fellow Mike Flatter, who was with us this year and came to us from Nevada and then Case Western. And he did a great job attending call multiple times per month, doing a great job both in the operating room, seeing patients in clinic, always available, and he is headed out likely to Arizona out there to take a job, and just wanted to say congratulations.
that's the main event. And, so, you know, you've heard that term, I hate to see a grown man cry. But actually, tears are encouraged today. And so it's going to be all right. In fact, we have to cease the tears. So we'll be starting out, Dean, you're back up. The first presentation of our fabulous chief group is going to be Dean Taylor presenting Tom Taylor. Dean, do you have a break enough to talk to him?
Make it out to the bar and back. Well, before I present Tom, congratulations to all the chief presidents. Yeah. You've been an incredible class, and you've heard that more than once, and you follow in a great tradition. And it's been wonderful to see you grow clinically, your clinical skills, your surgical skills, your research skills. And for me personally, it's been very affirming to see you grow in your leadership skills. And this class, if nothing else, is a group of tremendous leaders. And it's been a great thing to see you grow in those skills. And now you have a foundation from which you build on all your skills. And I'm really excited to see you continue to develop and grow and contribute and influence your patients, your communities, orthopedic surgery, and healthcare for the better. So congratulations to all. And in a group of great leaders, I'm fortunate to lead off with a leader among the leaders. Tom Lefevre and his wife Chelsea. I was fortunate enough to be introduced to them in 2011 in New York City, at an Italian restaurant by one of our alumni, Bill Allen, who's also the editor of the Journal of Shoulder and Elbow Surgery. Little did I know that 10 years later, I'm presenting here. It's your graduation. It's been a great run. So Tom, as you might guess, has a little bit of a military background. And I'm a little surprised that you chose me as an Army guy to present you. You and Matt and the history of Dr. Bannock and Dr. Parker, John, we're kind of in a minority as Army guys. That's okay, because we do share a lot of interests, we share a lot of values, and it's an honor to be presenting you today. Tom was born in Freehold, New Jersey. He grew up in a military family. His father, Paul, was a career Marine officer who retired as a Major General. His mom, Debbie, is actually watching the kids today. His sister, Elizabeth, and these are great pictures of you. He's a triple duty. He's an undergrad, he's a political science major, he's the company commander for the ROTC unit. He was a varsity golfer, and as I recall, you weren't the best golfer, but even then you were a leader. You were the captain of the team in a 4-year life. He was also in a fraternity that, and I didn't know this until I saw this. We share the same fraternity as my son. At Duke Med School, he was an HBSQ scholar. He was a Pat Tillman Scholar, which is a very special award. For those who remember Pat Tillman, who was killed in Afghanistan. He was a Bassett Scholar, and he was, as were 4 other of his classmates, taking leadership scholar. He also founded the Duke Military Medicine Interest Group. before he went to medical school, he served this country. He served it well here and overseas. He was a company commander in the Marines and served with distinction and was awarded the Bronze Star Medal with D, and that D means valor. He's an honor graduate. He was involved in over 350 combat patrols. He was an exceptional leader in the military. The reason I met him in New York was he was doing his postbac at Columbia before coming back to med school. In residency, he's published in the American Journal of Sports Medicine. He's had poster and podium presentations at SOMOS, the Foot and Ankle Society, and the chief resident presentation. He and Jonathan and others have really enhanced our brand around has been a leader in education. He's also taught undergrad and math. Fortunately, we have Chelsea here today. And, Chelsea, when we met in New York, was an ophthalmology resident in New York. And even more importantly, she's the mother to 4 amazing children, PJ, Nellie, Bernie, and Megan. Tom is going to be going to Camp Lejeune, where he'll be serving our country again as a naval officer, an orthopedic surgeon at the hospital at Camp Lejeune. Tom, congratulations on Untitled Chapter. We look forward to amazing things in the future. You truly are a leader.
Afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here for my class. Thank you, sir, for that really nice introduction. Dr. Joe has been a mentor and role model of mine for a long time, not just as a doctor, but the way he serves the country. So I'll make this quick. I know there are people in my class who have some important things to say. You know, since I was a little kid, sorry, my mom always thought of me as a superhero. But I'm not. In fact, at our wedding, my mom and I had a dance to the song of my Bible fighting Superman. I'm only a man in a pointy-red sheet. Sorry, I get to be in this room with this talented people is just such a blessing. And so you guys got me a little closer, I think, to being a real superhero. I got a long ways to go, but thanks to you all, I'm on the right track. I don't have time to thank all of you. But I do want to call my wife. Don't trip. Actually, funny enough, we're at a fraternity event here. She famously tripped on the stairs at the bar. This is a real superhero right here. Real life favor. My role model. Thank you.
You made Robert Fitch cry.
I forgot to mention, you know, the president's have pick on presenters. And that's a huge, really an award for those of you
that have been picked to do this, because that's a big deal. It tells you what they think. Before I start crying, I'm gonna click something. Okay, next we have Jordan Lyles. And the presenter for Jordan is Allison Toth. Good choice, Jordan.
Okay, well, I have tear gas, I cry too, but, so, not really interested in Jordan, it's really a privilege to speak on behalf of you. So Jordan has some real interest. He's an outstanding photographer. You should take a look at some of his photos. He's on his iPhone, has some amazing pictures. He's got quite an eye. He's also quite a good golfer, but he's best known for his home renovations, actually flipping his home when he bought here as a resident and selling that. And he's also known by residents for renovating their homes. And Bradley in particular probably thinks the world of Jordan for that. But what he did put out his interest here is a shame because like Jordan has a bit of a softer side, as some of you may know or not. And I found it's not asking how I know that. So unfortunately, we had a nice conference in Park City where Jordan got his license and I went on a trip. And Jordan gave me a thank you gift, and Tom LaFay was just presented, gave me a K-bar knife from the U.S. Marines engraved for me. And I thought it was cool because I kind of like sharp things and weapons. And then Jordan gave me a gift too. And so one day I went on my porch and there was a gift bag and it had all the Disney princesses, of which I can't even name one, by the way. And there's lots of colored tissue paper in it was candles and various products with Jordan's favorite scent. I think it's a store. Anyway, that's just the difference between the guys there. Just a little flavor for Jordan had a little softer side. Stress relief was the fragrance. I don't need that though. Anyway, Jordan was born in Wisconsin, raised in Lena, Illinois. His father, Jim, is here, a chiropractor, and his mother, Joan, office manager here today. Jay is apparently the theme in their families and names, and you can see he's got a couple brothers, oldest brothers, called Derek, chiropractor, and Jason, and his twin Jeffrey is a PGY3 resident in Chicago with orthopedic surgery, which is cool. Let me go back there. Jordan, you were cute at one time, by the way. And then, I don't mean to insult my twin. And then went on, and before he got to Western Illinois, Jordan actually really kind of cool information here. And he achieved the Eagle Scout honor, which is a service or the highest scouting honor, but he actually achieved something extremely rare beyond that, called the Vigil honor of the Order of the Arrow. And that's the highest leadership in scouting that most never would achieve. And that's for like basically selfless service, among other things. And I think that really, in all seriousness, that's Jordan, that's a characteristic that has followed him his whole career, and I know will in the future. So you're on in Western Illinois, and majored in biology and chemistry, minors, you can see, summa cum laude, GPA 4.0, all while participating in Division I track and field, javelin and sprints, student body president for 12,000 students, and is on board of trustees. He went on to Loyola in Chicago for medical school, graduated top of his class, actually participated in track while he was in med school, making second team all conference in javelin while medical student, which was challenging for sure. He's been very successful in research, and you can see some of the publications in sports and angling journals. He's published 15 articles, has many more on the way, quite an accomplishment as a resident, and you can see where he's presented at some nice meetings and will continue to do so in the future. Speaking of research too, he, while he was a younger resident, had a grant from Arthur's for about $40,000, one of the highest amounts we've seen from a resident, and did a nice job with that work. He was a favored scholar, as several of our chiefs have been, and also participated in resident selection and well-being forum. And I think that's good because he's been really helpful with some younger residents in this regard. Also taught some anatomy to the undergraduates. But I think their activities Jordan will best be remembered by me for sure about his sports medicine or sideline team coverage. He did an amazing job throughout his residency, certainly NCC, where work as that team position there. Jordan, when he was PGY3, was the leader of that, and basically that year covered lion's share of the events and did an amazing job. He's still revered by the trainers there for what a great job he did that year. Went on the next year to take control of the Duke Athletics and organize all that for residents. I know Dr. Mendola can be here today, but appreciates all that Jordan did there. So with that, we'll also then say he's going on to a sports fellowship, obviously, with all of that interest that he has, and he's going to one of the best fellowships for sure in the country in Vail, Colorado. Jordan's had this dream since he was a young resident to go to Vail. He made that happen by his sheer hard work and participation and everything. Jordan has certainly been an outstanding resident, and really enjoyed working with him over the years, using and messing with him as well. I'll certainly, I'll say I'll miss that, but I know we'll see each other at paramount meetings and things. And so with that, I'll just say, Jordan, congratulations, and I look forward to continue to be your mentor and colleague and friend in the future.
Thank you, Dr. Scott. You guys know I got us offside, I don't know her, so I just want to start by thanking Tom and thanking you all for coming. 5 years ago, I got a phone call from Dr. Bergman and didn't answer it because I didn't know who it was. But it went to voicemail and left a voicemail for me that said I was ranked to match at Duke, and I have that voicemail saved on my phone still. For those of you that don't believe me, I played it for him earlier, so he can vouch for it, and I still got it. Like most of you, I didn't think coming to Duke was a real possibility. I never thought in my life that I would consider myself a graduate of this program or a graduate of this institution. It was just a legacy that was unachievable for me, and I just never thought that would be an accomplishment in my life. When I got here, I had a little bit of imposter syndrome, I still do, that I was surrounded by this room of incredibly talented, gifted, good people. And so, you know, for the junior residents, thank God I am not in your year, because you guys are all very, very special and very talented, and will do much greater things than I think any of us have done. So I wish you guys the absolute best. We are amazed at how well you have done, and happy with the direction the program is going. But more than anything, I think I've been blessed to have the co-residents that I have. Peter, Colin, Jonathan, and Alex, and Jack, Elizabeth, and Tom, who's over here. You all have been my family for 5 years, and you will be my family. When we were talking earlier, my mom turned to me and she said that it seems like you guys are all family, and she's right. And so I can't thank you guys enough for the patience with me, putting up with all of the memes I would send you every Tuesday morning during conference, and all the emails and YouTube clips, and early mornings. I want to thank my family and my brothers and Megan, their girlfriends, who have all been supportive. Thank you to the entire sports department and all of the departments, because who knew that I could learn about pediatric scoliosis when it's not a sideline injury. But I've learned something about it. And mainly I want to thank my parents. Jim and Joe, I'm here today because of the influence you've had in my life, and I would never be here without your love and your support. So thank you so much for all you've done for me. And everybody here, I never thought that I would call you all my friends and my family. So thank you for a great 5 years.
was impressed with the composure, but actually, I think maybe tear ducts should stop there. Next is Colin Penrose, and he'll be presented by Mike Bolden. Thanks. You know, actually, when I was a resident, I trained under Top, and she said, you need to have your tear ducts removed. And so I said, okay, how do you do that? And she instructed me. Do it to yourself. And yeah. I put mine back in some morning here for this talk. Yeah. So I have obviously the honor and privilege to introduce Tom to all of you guys. I've known Tom for a long time. That'll come out as we get through this, but just to start off with the intro to the interest sports, it's time with his family. I think you don't have to be around that long to pick up on that. His dog, very, very much with his dog. He's a big sports, big into sports, and in fact, he's even played in our local Kirkville game. A couple of times, fortunately without injury. Look at this head of hair. I feel you, bro. I mean, I used to have something like that too, but it's gone. So Colin was born in Minnesota. Most of us like growing up in Arizona. Unfortunately, his father's not with us here tonight. His mother, Carol, who actually I know quite well. We were talking earlier about where is she? Oh, there you are. All right, and so we had a similar event together in Nashville. It's great to see you. And I know you're excited when you come to be here. His brother Andrew, he's got married. Right? So on the West Coast, a wedding that Colin had to travel to for that. So great family support, like so many of us. Colin went to Stanford undergrad, a decent school, you know, I always get confused because I do want to point out that it's not clear here. Colin was an Eagle Scout. That was a big thing for Dr. Hardiker. And I can't remember if his scholarship was more around undergraduate or medical school. He had an Eagle Scout-based scholarship. I only wrote 3 letters of recommendation for Colin. I went through these Microsoft Word documents in my letters of rec the other night, and I only got 3 for him. So I have a little bit of material to pull from, which we'll take care of in a minute. But obviously, very accomplished at Stanford. And then went on to Duke for medical school and did the updating leadership program referenced here. As Dean had mentioned, a couple of these folks have done that. And numerous academic awards, as you see outlined here. This is a lot of like text, right? So that's what you have to understand here is the accomplishments that they have. This actually doesn't sum it up. So when I wrote his letter for fellowship, so I've written 7. No, wait, for residency, he had for fellowship. He had 30 peer-reviewed papers at that time, which wasn't that long ago. 21 podiums. And 23 posters. So this is sort of like short changes in a little bit. So that speaks to what he's accomplished as a medical student resident from the education standpoint, the dedication and expertise he's shown. He certainly is, he is someone who functions at an independent level from a research standpoint. I've been amazed by what he's accomplished. So at residency, sort of a continued trajectory of excellence, if you will. I do want to spend a little time on the Manjapani Operational Law Scholar Award. So one of our alumni actually funded, which I think is an incredible thing for him to have done, but to fund one of the residents to be able to go to Operational Law, Utah specifically on their trips. And I know for sure, I didn't go on the trip, but I know when Colin went, he was very highly regarded by the other surgeons on the trip. And in those settings, you often operate sort of as an attendee, to be truthful. And there was a lot of very high praise for Colin and his operative skill to function independently doing ER classes. Folks that are underserved obviously lack incredible lack of access. There's a lot of folks in this room, I think, that have served on similar programs and understand the significance of what that type of giving back is, and what that means about you as a person if you have interest in things like that. This is a total like married up situation. No question. Like this is like the whole room. If you want to meet someone accomplished tonight while you're here, to talk to Elaine for numerous reasons. Incredible family. I've known her for quite some time too,
And their daughters, Julia and Victoria, actually their older daughter, Julia, shares the same name as my youngest daughter. So very meaningful. Think of them more as family than folks that train here. So I did want to finish before I go into this, which, this fellowship trajectory and then job, just with I went through, as I mentioned, those letters, and when I was writing one for residency, I got, actually, there's a thing called CG caps, which, for those of you that may not know, it's just sort of a scoring system, and they're supposed to evaluate the surgeon or the attending or whatever the clinic, and so I was looking to give it back to you, so this email, you're doing that. But they often have comments, and this was actually like a quote, it was a patient had written this. Even the medical student was after seeing us, and she wrote calm in the CG cap report. Assigned to do the initial assessment was very good and completely professional. And she said, someone should look at this young man for a residency spot too. And I thought, that is just because I actually put that in several Collins letters, because I don't know that I've ever had that happen since. But so Tom's done the work, as you guys have seen, and dedication to Tiffany arthroplasty to move on to the Mayo Clinic for fellowship. I don't want to say this, well, Siler's not here, but it's probably the top fellowship spot. Siler would say we are, Durant, don't tell me so. It's got to be. So I was like, well, we already stopped 3. I was like, coach's fault, or like, so, I think the last thing outside of just him being a good friend of mine at this point, and someone who is incredibly affable, incredibly positive. I think in a room, he's just the guy that brings everybody up around him. And I think it's just, I don't know that I've ever actually seen him upset. I'm sure some of his family members have. But I've missed it, and I've been around him a lot for a long, long time. And the last compliment I'll give him is that he was actually sort of already actively recruited by 2 former Piedmont or current Piedmont members, former residents, Mike Barron in Indiana and Chris Christensen in Kentucky, are ready for jobs in dedicated arthroplasty practices that are true private practices where Colin can choose to continue to do what he's done so great. But it's a happy day. For me, because I'm proud of him, sad they get away from it, but I do want to finish to say that Piedmont keeps us all together, and that's what's important, and that's for the fellows, and that's for the residents, and we'll never be completely apart, and so proud.
Wow, thank you so much. Pull up some notes here. I don't want to forget anybody. I'd like to start by thanking my mom and my dad. Mom, it means so much that you can be here today, making the trip a long ways away with last minute notice during a global pandemic. I think it kind of speaks to throughout my entire life, just the way you loved and supported me and my brother Andrew, and believed in me in ways that I didn't know or believe in myself. The sacrifices that you and Dad made to encourage me to dream big and then give you all the possible resources to chase down those dreams. Today is the culmination of one of those big dreams, and it's really special to share today with all of you here today. So thank you all for being here. I love you so much. I wanted to say a big thank you to my brother Andrew, who I think is trying to watch this via Zoom from the West Coast. He did recently get married to one of my medical school classmates and friends in Yale. Andrew, you've been an incredible friend and support throughout my entire life, and it's so exciting to see you and baby get married. I know we'll be very close forever. I also wanted to say a thank you to my extended family and in-laws that are hopefully tuning in remotely as well. But Elaine, there aren't words to express how much I love you or how grateful I am for the support you've shown me. I'm amazed by how you juggle keeping everything running smoothly in our family, in our house. And, you do it with such a positive attitude and make it look easy even when I know that it's not. You're so beautiful, strong, intelligent, independent, and loving. And I can't wait for the next steps on our journey together. Julia and Victoria, my beautiful daughters, I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. I think Dr. Nunley's daughter is actually babysitting them right now for us. So thank you to her so that we could be here together. Yeah, to my co-chiefs, Peter, Alex, Tom, Jordan, Jonathan, Jack, and Elizabeth. I'm so glad that I got to be in this class with each of you. I admire each of you. I've been inspired by each of you. I'll miss all of you greatly. I know that we've had the pleasure of getting to know each other so well, to grow together, to become such a cohesive team. I know that it doesn't end today. It's it changes, but I am so grateful to the Piedmont and the opportunities to stay so close. I'd like to thank Wendy and Sharon for all the work behind the scenes, keeping things running smoothly, and for planning this event. To Dr. Bolognese, thank you so much for that introduction. Thank you for being such an incredible mentor and friend, someone that I've looked up to for a very long time. That you've really taught me a lot about hip and knee replacement and also about life in general. You're someone that I really admire and look up to, so thank you. Thinking about a lot of fun times with you, whether it was seeing another patient in clinic or hanging out on the beach in Hawaii for a medical conference as a medical student or anywhere in between. It's been a lot of fun for the last many years, so thank you. Your support, as you mentioned, from a bunch of letters of recommendation has helped open all kinds of incredible doors for me. I'm so grateful that our friendship will continue. I'm so grateful to all the faculty here in the total joint division, but also every single division. Too many of you to name or to do justice in just a few minutes here. So I just, rather than leaving anyone out, I just want to say that I'd love to thank each of you personally, but rather than risking leaving someone off, please just know from the bottom of my heart, thank you for investing in me, and training me, teaching me in a variety of different ways. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. The ways you've helped me as a surgeon and as a person are incredible. You've treated me and my family like your family, and I'm so grateful to be part of the Duke family. And the embodiment of that is very clear here today, really over the last many years here, I've benefited greatly from that. To all the residents that I got to work with over my time here, both current and previous, it has been such a pleasure to get to know each of you, to work with each of you, to learn from and teach each of you. It's an incredible assemblage of people. A lot of the thanks for that goes to Dr. Hardiker and to Dr. Brigman and to Dr. Fitch. Appreciate this opportunity so much. It's been incredible for me, and I'm so grateful for everything about my time here at Duke. I think this is a lot, and I'm very grateful for the opportunities to stay in close contact. So I hope to see you all at Piedmont. Thank you very much.
Next is Jordan Isles and Bill Drainage. Jonathan Peterson. I said Jordan. Sorry, John. Jordan wants a second swing. Well, you all may want to start crying before I talk, but I think it's always hard to follow Bolo, except when you got material like John Peterson. If I can navigate this thing. So I'd like to introduce the concept of foreshadowing to you guys. You may remember it from your high school English conference. This is John as a young man. He was born in Salt Lake. His father, Richard, mother, Darlene, and 3 siblings. Unfortunately, nobody can be here today, but I'd like you to learn a little bit from this picture. It looks like a series of stacked cans of carnation condensed milk, which probably explains
why John is the tallest resident out here. And also why you probably don't want to play him in Jenga. So, continuing on this theme of foreshadowing, John went to the University of Utah. And to show you how progressive I am, I didn't realize that their mascot was no longer the Utes. That's not politically correct. It's now the red-tailed hawk, and that hawk's name is Swoop. I don't know any of you that have seen Swoop in action, but JP, I think he just got another nickname. But the theme is cum laude, Mountain Memorial Award, Presidential Scholarship. Clearly, great things were going to happen to John. University of Michigan Medical School, again, cum laude, Student Scholar for Outstanding Research, Dean's Award for Research Excellence, Superior Leadership. I think that the people that selected him as a resident saw the foreshadowing, so they didn't cut English class. He got to Duke and an amazing variety of publications, an amazing amount of energy to publish in this many journals and student papers, and also an incredible variety of publications, of presentations at diverse meetings, including the American College of Surgeons. Sorry, you didn't want to see that again. And we're not surprised that the theme of leadership continued. He was in the Academy Resident Leadership Forum. He organized the Patient Safety Conference, something probably nobody wants to do, but he did an outstanding job with it. And he served in selecting other residents that would be as good as him, so thank you for doing that, John. He was also the winner of the Jagger Award. Now, I took a poll on how many people knew what the Jagger Award was, and there weren't many, so I'm going to educate you. It's that resident that sings the best version of Mick Jagger's Satisfaction at the Christmas karaoke party. Now, in reality, it really is an award. It was given by Mick Jagger, but it was given for the resident that presented whose slides had the greatest style. So Mick is constantly trying to make us better, and John did. He was a volunteer with NC Army National Guard, something I think Dean Taylor was happy about. And he was at our local Total Joint Conference, the Emily Barron Conference. We would have been lost without John as AD guru. So Bolo, I think we're lost next year. He is married, his wonderful wife Shalay is here with us, two wonderful children, Wesley and Courtney. And John is going to go to a very prestigious adult recon fellowship in Houston, Texas next year. And John, we want to congratulate you for an amazing amount of complications. When I sat down, when I sat down to write down what characteristics I had learned from John and felt he possessed, I thought he always showed up prepared, which should help him a lot as he starts practice, and inquisitive, which should help him keep from burning out. But he was always cheerful, and he was always upbeat, even when I was not. And I'll thank you for that. And I think he, in addition, as all the rest of the chiefs have done, he took initiative, provided leadership without being told, and that was really special. And so, John, I'm going to congratulate you, and if you don't mind, congratulate all your fellow chiefs. This is the first class that I have been able to witness your entire career here, since I'm a newbie as well. And it is amazing to me the leadership and work that you guys display together that has made my coming to you so worthwhile. So I wish you all the best of luck in your careers. I'm looking forward to following you all. John, come on. Thanks so much, Dr. J. Wow. Thank you. Embarrassing. All right. I'm really happy to be here today, and I wanted to say thank you. Thank you to a lot of people. When I was growing up, we had a tart cherry tree in our backyard, and when I was like 8, I took a pair of loppers and cut off this really nice fruit-producing branch, and somehow my dad grabbed it back on the tree, saved it, and kept it alive. And he taught me love of fixing things. I have to take pride in my work. And my mom taught me how to love and serve others. I think that's why I found a home in orthopedic surgery. I think that's why I feel like I'm with my family when I'm here. See that in all of you as well. Neither of my parents went to college, so it's kind of a miracle that I'm here today. It's kind of a foreign setting for us, but I'm just really grateful. I have a lot of people to thank in this room for getting me here. A couple I just wanted to highlight. I want to thank you, Dr. J. You taught me a lot of Arthur classes. And I decided to go into adult recon after struggling with you on a really tough revision case and start to late in the evening. I was on the trauma service. But when I looked at the clock, I could tell you I smiled the whole time. It was definitely a winner chicken dinner. I wanted to thank Dr. Bolo for showing me how important it is not only to be a boss in the OR, but also in your relationships with patients, your staff, and colleagues. I want to thank Dr. Wellman. It was so patient, teaching you to be technically better every case, and when what I did was totally whack. I want to thank Dr. Seiler for teaching you to be brave and striving for the best outcomes, in difficult situations, and how great to be. I want to thank Dr. Adams. I was equally Hart's friend, mentor, and scientist. I want to thank Dr. Toth for teaching me to be a proficient surgeon in the OR and caring doctor in the clinic. I want to thank Dr. Gage. Even though you're younger than I am, I hope one day to be the kind of man and surgeon that you are. There's too many others, and I can't name everyone. But I thought last night about everyone I've never worked with, write down a bunch of names. So thank you, Dr. Riley, Olson, Roosh, Richard, Clifton, Goldner, Tommy, Schweitzer, Easley, Nunley, Terry, Hallows, Cabbage, Richardson, Erickson, Mendoza, Minshew, Mather, Garrett, Lasser, Taylor, Ewer, Brigman, Clark, Fitch, Stanley, Dr. Danick, and many, many others. Training here at Duke has been one of the greatest honors of my life. All the residents, I'm going to miss you all a lot. Wendy and Sharon said no soapbox talk up here, but that's too bad. So here's a few pieces of advice. To the Rising Chiefs, you guys are doing a great job. And I'm so impressed to turn the reins over to how you guys have really stepped up. Stay united as a team and use the challenges of this year to closer together. The Rising Fours, ready for the best year of residency. And you're doing so, try to think like an attending master stuff that you would do in your practice while the patient's taken care of. Take a lot of notes on the things that you want to remember. The Rising Threes, we've all worked the closest to your class this year. We really love you guys. Keep working hard, find your passion in orthopedics, and keep the traditions alive to make this program strong. To the Rising Twos, welcome to the show. John, you put your nose to the grindstone this year. If you do, you'll reap the benefits from it for the rest of your career. The incoming interns, and a lot of us really care about where you are. You got this limited potential in front of you. So welcome to the Big Orca family. My classmates, Jack, Colin, Travis, Tom, Jordan, Elizabeth, and Peter.
There's more for you guys than anyone else in this room. I love you all. I miss you a lot. Thanks for being my friends. Watching it all transform from short white-coated interns into orthopedic surgeons has been really thrilling. I know I trust each and every single one of you to treat me and my family. One person I have to thank more than anyone else is my beautiful wife, Shalane. Jagger, we met 14 years, 5 months and 18 days ago. And that little square dance was a more important day to me, even today. But I might be the one standing up here. Julie made this possible, so thank you. You and my partner for raising our 2 beautiful kids, making our home a refuge from the storm, keeping the faith, putting my shoulder to cry on and throw sergeant when I needed it. You were my best friend. I love you. Thank you.
I'm gonna come up with a scale, tier scale, and to me, that was work. It didn't fall apart, and inspiration, very inspiration. So next is Don Jack Steele. He's going to be presented by St. Angus.
All right, thank you, everyone. So it's my pleasure to present the next member of the Duke orthopedic family, John Jackson Steele. I think I have some good material here. We'll see, let you guys wait for a little bit. But I want to talk about some of his interests, and one of his main interests is walking with his dog Benson. He also likes to travel to out west to ski, to Europe, and even locally. He told me not to mention some of these things. It may make him seem a little bit more privileged than that. So there's some things I'm going out. So he was born in Longmeadow, Massachusetts, or hometown, raised in Longmeadow, Massachusetts, which is a small town outside of Springfield. And there's no doubt that we owe much of his wonderful personality to his parents, Rick and Carol, who are here, as well as he was certainly outnumbered at home by those personalities, 3 sisters, Emily, Sarah, and Hannah. Before moving on to his education, so Jack grew up in a lacrosse family. His father, Rick, played lacrosse at Cornell, and Jack himself went on to play lacrosse at Dartmouth. But before meeting Jack, I thought lacrosse was a sport for rich kids who had no talent in mainstream sports. After meeting him, I still feel the same. He excelled in high school lacrosse. He was just a team captain and an academic All-American. He went on to play Division I lacrosse at Dartmouth, as I mentioned, and at the height of his career, he weighed, I think, 155 pounds, but at the height of his career, he scored an unbelievable 3 goals in 1 season. But he made it work, and he became a leader. He was his high school team captain, and so he became very talented in lacrosse. But we'll talk about other talents that he has coming up. But in preparation for his career in medicine, he made the right decision to major in history and economics, achieving academic honors in those majors before matriculating to Georgetown Medical School. While at Duke, he was very prolific. He has over 21 publications in multiple journals and multiple subspecialties. I had the honor of co-authoring several of those with him. He's also presented at many conferences, both podium and poster presentations. He's certainly a leader, taking advantage of the multiple leadership opportunities we have here at Duke. He's received several awards, and this teaching part of this, it's a little bit misleading.
this is an undergraduate anatomy course that many of our residents teach, but I think all the juniors will know that Jack's been an excellent teacher every day of his residency career. So I think that's important for us to keep in mind. However, his greatest accomplishment is getting recently married to his wife, Christy, who's here today with us. All right, so now for the mushy stuff. So in preparing for this, I was recalling all the experiences I've had with Jack, our emails, our text threads, our conversations in the OR, all the jokes. I have a lot to share with you. But if I did, in addition to this being Jack's last day at Duke, it would also be mine. So we'll stay in the vault. You can ask me off the mic. So I'm going to take the high road and tell you that I'll miss Jack. And I think I'd like everyone in this room that knows Jack to reflect on what he's meant to you in life and what he will continue to be for you. He's definitely for me been a great friend, mentee, mentor, student, teacher, and colleague. Everything we can hope for to do for residents. And you may wonder why the foot and ankle guy is introducing somebody that's going into joints. I actually have no idea why he changed it to joints. Maybe they'll tell us, or maybe we can talk about it later. But I always teased him about, I always said that if you go into foot and ankle, you have the best hair. I've always been jealous of his hair. I said you'll have the best hair if you go into foot and ankle, best hair in foot and ankle. Competitive guy, so he definitely win the hair award to be the only one who joins with divisional hair. So I think he maybe made the right choice. But Jack, if you get tired of only doing 2 operations for the rest of your life, I can speak to my partners in the foot and ankle division. Welcome you back at any time. So now that so as we send Jack off to fellowship, I know that combination with his inherent nature to always be a consummate gentleman. And with all of you in this room who know him and taught him over the last 5 years and beyond, that he'll be the ideal representation of the Duke orthopedic family for the rest of his life. And Jack next year will be doing adult reconstructive fellowship at the Hospital for Special Surgeons. So please welcome Jack up to the stage.
All right, thank you, Dr. Adams. It's pretty surreal being up here. Can't believe it's been 5 years already. It's really hard to put into words what Duke orthopedics has meant to me. As I thought about the last 5 years, I realized this is really the first place I've called home ever since I had moved my parents' house for college when I was 18. Can barely do something. It was a long time ago. I remember coming here 5 years ago, just a single guy from Massachusetts who had barely ever set foot in North Carolina before. But I came here and I felt like I had just fit in right away. I've met so many amazing people during my time here. I really think we have the best group of residents and attendings in the country. There have been so many people who have helped me on this journey and who I owe so much. I'd like to thank a few people in particular. First, my wife, Christy. I mentioned earlier that I came down here single, but it didn't last long. I met Christy 1 month into residency in the emergency room. And asking you out was the best thing I ever did. It's probably the most nervous I've ever been. I couldn't have made it through the last 5 years without you, and I'm so excited for our future together. I'd also like to thank my family, my parents. I feel like accomplishments like this are as much yours as they are mine. I've always tried to live my life by your example, which is work hard, do the right thing, and have fun. And I've had a lot of fun along the way. You guys have been so supportive of me over the years, and I wouldn't be anywhere without you. To my three sisters who aren't here, you know, my entire life, everyone's always asked me what's it been like to have three sisters, and I've always said it's the best. Besides high school, you know, they've kept me honest over the years, and I've had so much fun with them. To my class, what an amazing group of 8 people. It's really been an honor and a privilege spending the last 5 years with you guys. I feel so lucky to be part of this group. I've had just a blast with you guys, and I can't wait to see what everyone accomplishes in the future. Lastly, for my training here at Duke, we have so many attendings here, and I'm so thankful for everyone's patience in teaching the residents and their dedication to this place. It really is unbelievable. But I'd like to give a special shout out to thank you to the Joints team, specifically Dr. Colanese, Wellman, Saturn, and Durant. You guys have been awesome. You guys just have the best division in the country, I think. And it's really been an honor training under you. I've learned so much from you guys, and I've had so much fun along the way. I feel so fortunate to call you guys my mentors. I can't wait for future DAC meetings. To summarize, I'm really going to miss this place. I just really want to say thank you to everyone. This place is so special, and I'm so grateful to be part of this family. Thank you.
Next will be Elizabeth Wall, which will be presented by David Rich. Good afternoon. I think all the faculty agree that it's a real privilege to be a part of this. I'm surrounded by brilliant young people every day is a true honor. And thank you guys for all that you do to make our life wonderful. Really. It's my privilege to present Elizabeth today. Elizabeth was born in Idaho, Pocatello to be precise. I've never actually been there, but I've heard it's a wonderful spot, garden spot of Idaho, really. Russell and Pamela, our parents and panelists here tonight, welcome to another NACA of the United States from North Carolina, so welcome to do. As you can see, incredibly accomplished academic family, PhD, which I think translated to a fairly intellectually experimental and liberal environment growing up. When I talked to Kurt about growing up, he said, well, she may have taken advantage of the liberties that were afforded to her, which I guess translated into another euphemism, which he said repeatedly over our conversation, wild child. And so, if she was a wild child, I think our chief residents are wild children. She's in good company. She played soccer and ran track in high school. Certainly not a golfer, though, as I found out. She attended Hamilton College, where, in the spirit of great majors to do medicine in, and she was in mathematics and French. So, good choices there. She then went to the University of Washington School of Medicine, which was where she met Kurt. She was a Memorial Scholar there, a Codman Award recipient, and also got the MSRTP scholarship. So her chief accomplishment there, though, I think, was meeting Kurt. They met at it's called the Long program, and it's for Idaho residents who are going into medicine. So obviously a big group, 20 people attended that big conference. So that's where they're at. And they've been together ever since. And Kurt is over to the UNC, where he is also going to be a resident. They did the college match together. As a resident here at Duke, she's been tireless, undaunted. She is the type of resident that literally give them a project and gets done in 2 weeks and signed off and sent in. 12 publications, really with very little, at least on my part, values. Great publications in JKS and children. Has done a fabulous job academically. Wonderful podium presentations, as you can see here, with all of our chief residents. It's sort of an understatement to say that all of their accomplishments can be condensed into one slide like this. It's a 5-year program, and she's done 5 years of hard work. Been a leader here for her class and also for the other residents. She was on the selection committee. Chief resident core curriculum, as well as resident scholars for both the Hand Society and Botanical Society, and recipient of the Piedmont. But as I alluded to, her biggest accomplishment was in medical school, where she met Kurt, and Kurt is having also go off to a fellowship in shoulder and elbow. You can see Kurt and Elizabeth here at their wedding with 2 of their bridesmaids, and obviously. I don't know the type of wedding, but it is a real privilege and honor to be asked to present you, Elizabeth, and thank you for that privilege. And Elizabeth's going off to do a hand fellowship at Washington University, which in the coaching poll was probably in the top 3 places too. So to all this point, congratulations on a great career and wonderful future, Elizabeth.
All right, well, thank you, Dr. Rich, for the kind words, and I'd like to thank everyone for being here today, this afternoon. Today was supposed to be a celebration about all of us residents. Our class wanted to celebrate going through a very hard year, hopefully with some grace and introducing to the next step. I really like to thank my parents. I can't put to words how much you supported me throughout the years. And I wouldn't be here today if I really didn't work for you without you. My mother is here, and she's a recently retired French professor, and I can always hear her saying "courage" in my head during tough times. I'd like to thank my husband Kurt for his unending support. As many of you know, he also just completed his working residency at the University of North Carolina. So I've had the unique privilege of going through this with someone who knows exactly what I'm going through. The highs are even more important than those, and I can't imagine doing it without it. I'd especially like to thank my class. If there's anything this last year has taught me is that I've missed and will continue to miss all of you guys every morning. You are also incredibly smart, genuine, and have motivated me to do the right thing. And I really cherish the friendships we have. To the residents, thank you. You taught me more than I could ever give you in return. I've enjoyed going to work every day to be around all of you. You are what makes this place feel like family. To Dr. Brigman and Dr. Fitch, it's been a pleasure being a resident of your guidance. And to all the attendees, thank you so much for what you've done for me. Finally, to the hand department, I've enjoyed getting to know you personally and professionally. We spent many dinners together across the country and at journal clubs. You've definitely fed me very well over the last 2 years. You've taught me more about cancer than I could ever know. And I'm eternally grateful for your willingness to teach me, your patience, and your continued encouragement. I'm honored that I was able to go to residency here in such a special place and to continue the new tradition going forward. Thank you all.
Next, Peter Casey, come on up.
be introduced by Chris Cook.
All right, well, what a great evening or afternoon this has been. I mean, this is evening, right? You know, doing orthopedics is just such an amazing thing. The residents are the lifeblood of this program. It's so great to see you all graduate. We couldn't be more proud of all of you, so congratulations. So I have the pleasure of introducing Peter Casey today. Peter was actually one of the first residents I got to work with when I was here in my first year. And per usual, like the person Peter is, he was here late. It was a late case. He was the first person to make sure that he was here to finish the case with me, make sure I got. He enjoys spending time with his family. He enjoys golfing, skiing, ice hockey, and he's an LSU football fan at his deepest. He was born in Washington, D.C. And lived in New Orleans. His father is Francis, his mother is Deborah, and his brothers are Michael, George, and William. He went to the University of New Orleans, where he had a BS in biology, where his cum laude. He went to LSU for medical school, where he was vice president. He had community service accolades for 4 years. He had an orthopedic award and a research award for most outstanding medical student. He had multiple publications while he was at Duke Presidency, including Journal of Shoulder and Elbow Surgery Hand and the European Journal of Orthopedic Surgery and Trauma. He had multiple podium presentations, including the North Carolina Society of Surgery and Hand, the Hand Society, and the American Association for Hand Surgery, among other great places where he presented. He did his Duke residency, obviously here, where he had multiple leadership roles, including the residency selection committee. He was in the Chief Resident Quality Improvement Committee, Patient Care and Resident Education. He had multiple awards, including the Dan Award. His grants include the Piedmont Orthopedic Foundation. He was the team physician for the men's baseball and high school men's football team. And most importantly, he was married to Megan on June 27th, 2015. He's a wonderful woman who works at Wake Med as a nurse practitioner. His daughter, Charlotte, who was born September 14th, 2018, who is amazing as well. Our daughters actually share something in common. Their BMIs are both in the 99th percentile, so we're pretty excited about that. So, like the person Peter is, he has matched into an amazing program in the Memorial Baltimore. You know, when I talk to Peter about why he would want to do a program like that, he wants to be part of things. Peter doesn't shy away from any challenges, and he wants to go to a place where he's going to become the best possible surgeon. And Peter is a wonderful individual who, you know, when I first got to know him, he was a resident I worked with, but as the years went on, he became so much more than I know that he started to be an amazing friend. Peter, we're so proud of you. The hand division is proud of you. We couldn't be more grateful for the time you spent with us. We wish you the best. And, you know I speak from the whole hand division where you're one of the best persons to work with and continue to watch the flourish and grow. And excited to see what you do. So, thank you.
Thank you, Angus, first of all. So June 26th has been a really cool day for me. 6 years ago, this is I was sitting kind of in a room like this, giving a speech for our pre-wedding dinner. And I started crying so hard, I couldn't finish the speech. And in finishing, I couldn't finish the speech, and I didn't get to acknowledge my wife, so that's pretty bad. So I'd like to make sure I acknowledge her first and say thank you so much. I have Jonathan beat, I think, by a year because Meg and I started dating in 2006, so I think that means that it's 16 years. So I think I got you beat by a little bit. We've been together so long. You truly are my better half. I would not even be anywhere close to here without you. She's always willing to help. If you've read an email from me, it's probably been proofread by her first, as I'm sure many of us do. And she's worked full time while raising our daughter.
Got back to Duke, got a master's, I got a doctorate while we've been here. And I just can't say thank you enough. And I'm excited for what's to come for us. To my family, my mom, 3 brothers, my in-laws, I think they're all watching. Thank you so much. And it's been a long 33 years, but not with me. But being a father has taught me how much you guys mean to me. And I'm proud to be a son, brother, father, son-in-law to all of you. Thank you. To the hand faculty and the faculty as a whole, Dr. Bruce, Dr. Richard, Dr. Tommy, Dr. Clifton, Dr. Goldner, Dr. Pigeon, you guys have been the best mentors I could ever ask for. You've taught me so many lessons on not just how to be a surgeon, but life lessons. And I take those and I'll cherish those greatly. Thank you. You taught me how to be a well-rounded person. And I'm proud to say that I've trained under all of you. And especially to Dr. Brigham, Dr. Fitch, and Dr. Allman, Wendy and Sharon, thank you for all your support and keeping me in line. And I know you received a few phone calls about me, so I appreciate it. To my classmates, it's been an unbelievable 5 years. I feel like it was just yesterday we were all wearing white outside of, I think, the junction between the DNP and the medical school. And we were doing whiteout Wednesdays, and it went by so fast. You guys were always there to lend a hand. You never asked for anything in return. We celebrated weddings together, births, even LSU football games. We're very close, and I know we'll continue to stay that way. And then to the residents as a whole, I think that I'm proud to be graduated from the best residency in the country, and it's because of you guys. We survived a challenging year, and I was thinking kind of what makes a Duke resident, and I was listening to a podcast, and there was something that was said on the podcast. Everybody at Duke, I think, that describes us as authentic to a fault. We're not afraid to be who we are. We're not afraid to say what we want to say, and that challenges us all to be better, and I appreciate that. And I like just my last words, remember that the days are long, the years are short. So cheers this time. Thank you.
Peter, I was gonna try to run up and shake your hand, and then I thought, what, he might crush you or something. I take it for a guy with such big hands, you can really offer. Okay, I'm happy to announce the next and last chief resident will be presented by Robert Ewing. We'll do a slightly different format. This will be a short one-act play about Laz and the Bible. I'm kidding, it's Laz. This will be interpretive dance. So, for those of you who don't know him, this smiling face is Alex Lazarus. And if you know anything about him, you know the first thing on this slide is true. He's a great friend. No better person to have as a friend. Probably at least an above average husband. You'd have to ask Krista. He does love to travel. Laz once traveled to Tokyo to present a paper, and I think he was in Tokyo for less than 48 hours, shorter than his travel time, and he did not sleep for either one of those hours. And in sports, Laz is always picking up sports with the same passion he employs for everything else. He can take up, say, squash with Eliana, and before you know it, he's actually legitimately good at it. Laz was born in Pasadena and raised in La Jolla. His parents sadly had a canceled flight. He can't be here. But his father, Elias, and his mother, Catherine, are both PhDs, and they're two of the nicest people you could ever meet. I can tell you, Laz comes by both his smarts and his personality naturally. He's got a brother, Stefanos, and they were actually highly competitive piano duettists back in the day. Laz is also a triple Dookie. He graduated with distinction from Duke, where he studied biology and chemistry. He stayed at Duke for medical school, where he got a variety of awards. And this is where I met Laz. I actually remember the day I met Laz. He seemed like someone who would be very nice, very smart, very easy to mentor. And I had no idea the journey that we'd be embarking on for the next few years. Laz spent 2 years in my lab developing a laser ablation system, and he was actually given the Connective Tissue Oncology Society's Young Investigator Award. He was flown to Berlin to receive this honor, and I think he's the only person I've ever heard of who got this award as a student. And so as you can see on this slide, there are a few people who published and presented as widely as Laz. And what I really admire about him is that every project he undertakes, he becomes a true expert on it. He really is a leader. He leads junior residents and med students to take up what he knows. He helps them become better at publishing and presenting as well. And he's published in many areas, not just oncology, sports medicine, foot and ankle, anesthesia. It's really remarkable what he's done. So it's no surprise that his residency has also been filled with accolades. Vega Leadership, Resident Education and Selection, Editor-in-Chief of the Duke Orthopedic Journal. He received the Chief Resident Teaching Award, as well as the Research Award and the Ogden Award. He's also received the MSTS Young Investigator Award, making him one of the only people I know who's received Young Investigator Awards from both of the two oncology societies, MSTS and CTOS. So this is probably his biggest accomplishment, marrying Krista. I remember when he talked her into dating him, things got serious, co-parenting dogs, and finally married and expecting their son, baby Leo, in October. And if you haven't met Krista, she's right down here, you should. They're a perfect couple. So I am truly sad to see Laz go. Laz is like a combination of a brother, a really close friend. It's like having a partner in terms of how he operates, how he works. And he's off to do the prestigious oncology fellowship at the University of Toronto. So Laz, come on up.
Wow. Already crying, so sorry. I just want to start by thanking everyone in this room. 5 years goes by fast, and as has been mentioned already thus far, I don't have nearly enough time to thank everybody in this room, but I seriously feel that I could thank every single one of the attendants here at Duke. So I just want to start by saying thank you. Thank you to Dr. Allman, Fitch, and Brigham for choosing me and allowing me to be part of this program. I also want to give a special thank you to the oncology department. You guys have provided me endless mentorship. Dr. Brigman, I'm gonna miss your belly laps and your excellent karaoke skills. If I can end up being half the clinician surgeon you are, I'll done quite well. Dr. Riskhouse has developed quickly into one of my greatest mentors and also one of my biggest champions, so thank you. And to Dr. Ewert, I can't begin to thank you enough. You've been a tremendous mentor, but also one of my closest friends and like a brother to me, so thank you. Also want to thank all my class. To Peter, you've been the yin to my yang. Never hesitate to say what needs to be said. Tom, thank you for your endless loyalty. I know if I ever needed anything at all, I can always count on you. I truly appreciate it. Jordan,
Well, you could have been an Instagram influencer, you could be an amazing sports surgeon. Thank you for being a consummate professional and an even better friend. Colin, you have unbridled optimism. You've been my friend for 9 years. Thank you. And keep being you. Jay Keats, I can't begin to thank you for how much love and compassion you've given all of us. You really are a wild class, and you've never passed any judgment. You've only just been there with open arms. Jack, you've been one of my closest friends in residency. You're an amazing surgeon, but an even better friend. And to Elizabeth, I've always thought of you as the smartest, most hardworking person in our class. I look up to you. Thank you. I have to thank my parents who weren't able to make it today, but they've truly provided me unending support. I would not be where I am today without them. And I thank my brother Stephanus, who also can't be here, but he's my best friend, and he's always been compassionate and always been there for me whenever I needed him. And I want to thank Krista. I love you so much. I would not be the person I am today without you. Thank you for making me a better person. I'm just going to take a quick minute to tell a story. Yeah, I might also soapbox for a minute, but I had the opportunity to be part of the Big Leadership Program, and one of the cool things about that was I had the opportunity to talk to Coach K, and he told this story about his first year coaching USA basketball. He was trying to think how many motivate the superstars to be who they are and win a gold medal. So he met with all of them the very first day, and he said, "You guys might think you're here to play basketball, but you're not. You're here to be USA basketball." So what I've done is I've put all your jerseys upstairs in your rooms. I want you to put those jerseys on and just take a minute to reflect on what it is to be USA basketball. So Coach K later was gambling in the casino, and he felt a tap on his back, and it was Kobe Bryant, and he was there with tears in his eyes, and he said, "Coach, I put on that jersey and I got it." So I want to take a moment to translate that to Duke Orthopedics. This is a special place. A lot of traditions and a lot of legacy here. I want to challenge everybody in this room. When you put on that white coat, be Duke Orthopedics. Remember their basic commandments and live up to that potential every single day. Thank you.
You know, it's always hard to follow the residents and talk at the very end, and it's especially with hard to follow that. I do have to tell you first that Bob pitched one event because I thought that if we had this earlier in the morning, with less alcohol and fewer tears. But I think there's this way to stay in the back for that. I just want to start off with just congratulating all of you. They did really a fantastic job, and it's really important. It's just really important stepping stone in your life. You know, graduation isn't really the end, it's just a step. And actually, the word graduation came from a Latin word meaning step. This is a step along your way, and you're going to be continuing to be part of Duke and part of orthopedics and part of us forever. Now, you've had a really hard past year and a half. It's been really very unusual. All sorts of things have happened. And people talked before about resilience. You've been pretty resilient class. You've really done well. People have heard all sorts of kinds of resilience. Psychological resilience, emotional resilience, physical resilience, community resilience. But you really have embodied all of those things over the year. And you know, I gave you some, this sort of last time I'm trying to give you some advice. I just want to tell you 4 things about resilience that I hope you continue to remember and practice the rest of your lives. Now, the first one is about being adaptable. Now, I have to apologize a little bit. It's never supposed to apologize when we talk. We're going to apologize anyway. Because I was saving this talk for the very first resident graduation after COVID, if we get back together meeting for COVID. And there's a time about 8, 9 months ago when people were feeling pretty down on our department. I gave it a little bit after graduation. So I'm going to give it to you again, just maybe a rebirth version. And that's about spiders and spiders in space. So I know the residents heard it, but the family member probably haven't. So it was about 15, 20 years ago, there was, NASA had a competition for a science projects for high school students. And people who won, these two high school students had a project, sent spiders up into space, up into Skylab, to see if they could make a web in weightlessness. You know, on the Earth, there's gravity and spiders. So they sent the spiders up into space, and the spiders try and make some webs up there. And they started out trying to make them, and they were a mess. They looked nothing like a web. And the spiders could have said, look, I don't like this, I want to go back to Earth. But there's no way they were talking NASA to flying back down. They wanted to be on the station just for them. And they were sort of stuck in that situation. We were stuck in that with COVID. You may be stuck with those situations. You're in lots of things in life. And the goal isn't to say, can we go back to how we were before? But how you can make things better going forward. And you stuck with it. And those spiders eventually learn how to make a web in weightlessness. And all of you have done that this year as chief residents. And I know you've had a really hard time about it, but remember what you've learned, because that's going to help you big time the rest of your lives. Always be optimistic about things. Sometimes things look bad. You don't know what's going on about a patient, you're talking about a patient. You're having a fight with a colleague. You're trying to negotiate new contracts, you're not going the right way. Always be optimistic. In the end, it will turn out okay. I really do believe that. And people are faced with these things all the time with blocks. We're like, if you work hard, honest, go forward, things will come out in the right way. Be pragmatic, be practical. A lot of times things go wrong. People are doing these crazy things. Do things that actually are going to work in the real world, because that's going to make things better for you and be able to have you motor through really any kind of problem you're going to face. And last, it's important to have connections with others to be resilient. That's really important. And you've talked about that today, about connections with others, but all of you, the fellows who graduated, the residents who graduated, the faculty who are here teaching you, all members of the Piedmont Society, and that's a built-in connection that all of you are going to have the rest of your life. So besides the connections you made with us, the personal connections you've made, you have an extra connection that's going to help you make you resilient forever. So I just wanted to end today. I really thank you all for coming. Just think 3 months ago, we were talking about what we do for graduation. And at that time, we were not doing anything. We followed all those rules. We thought about things. You know, it came out to a great event. So remember that if you're resilient, do those things, stick with it. You'll be able to come back. So in any event, I really wanted to thank all of you. It's been really an honor for me to have you train in our residency program. I know there's an alcohol for first, it's not but you have an alcohol for non-alcohol last coast to our graduating residents. And thanks for all you've done for us. Congratulations. I forgot to put up the congratulations. I have to remind you of the chart. I forgot to do that.